I recently completed this ship's wheel model, and as you can see it's quite complex looking, looks very detailed. Textured this in Substance Painter, and when you look at something like this you think it's going to be overly complicated, but how much of this you actually need to work on is relatively small, and I'm going to show you some selection tips to make working on something like this a lot easier. You only actually need to work on a very small amount, and when you're looking at the finished thing it's quite overwhelming to think how much of this is symmetrical, how you'd go about making it so that you can adjust one little part and it adjusts it all the way around the model. You can use these techniques that I'm going to show you both for the modelling, the converting it into a low poly, adding seams for the UVing, so it's quite versatile. So looking at the actual model now rather than the rendered view, if I go into edit mode you can see quite clearly there's quite a lot of seams on this. This is the version that's been unwrapped, but I'm going to delete parts of this so that you can see how much you actually need to work on when you're making the low poly. So to start with, I'm going to go into top view with face select, and I'm just going to use box select to select the entire back half. And you need to be careful here that on the sides here you're not selecting too much or too little, because sometimes you can just go over that middle point and get an extra two faces in there. So I can delete those for a start. Then on the front of this we have, because I've retopologized this centerpiece with reductions in geometry here to make the low poly, it doesn't cut through directly into the middle anymore. An easy fix for that is if we select the middle part of this, we can then grow the selection all the way up to here. If you notice it's not getting these middle parts of here, so if I grow it once more and then shrink it again, it will cover those. And I want it right up until this part here. So now I can separate my selection, and I'll just change this back to a view layer. I can hide that part altogether. So that leaves us with this. Now what I want to do is I'm going to go into edge select mode, right click and clear all the seams. And the reason I've done that is because I only actually want seams here and here, mark seam, and here and here, and mark seam there as well. And the reason for that is I can now select any of this and press L for select linked, and you see it's on seam down there, and it will just select all of this part. So now I can control I to invert and delete all of that. And then the final extra piece, if I want to, I can also delete down the middle here. And again, just check that all the middle faces have been selected, specifically on these the ends of these rounded parts here. And that leaves you with this. And this is all you actually need to work on when you're changing geometry. So for example, when I beveled these edges here, I beveled them with 4 segments. And the reason for that is the 2 segments that went through here and here are the ones that you remove. That's why you always do an even number. But I only need to fix those on this one piece, and the same for this. So there was an edge loop that went through here, and because I've only got to remove it on that one little corner, I don't then need to remove it on the rest of the model. And similarly, this is helpful for when you're adding in the seams for the UVing at the end when you finish the modelling. It's very simple to then mirror this all back. Oops, sorry, wrong modifier. So quick favourites, mirror on the x-axis, bisect and flip just to make sure it's in the right place. And that gives us this. Now it is important to note the origin point for this whole object was on the world 0 origin, and if I go into edit mode and then to rejoin this to the rest of the model, I can select all of this, change the transform pivot point to the 3D cursor, and then do Shift D R Y 45 to get that piece, and then do Shift R to repeat that. I can then merge all of these by distance to join them back together, and add in the y-axis on the mirror modifier to get this back, and then I could just rejoin it to this center hub. And see, that's all now joined back together into one piece. You could then go through and add in on the back of these cylinders. Some of these will need a loop round there, maybe one round there, and then they'll also need one down the length of the cylinder there. So that will be on one side, not mirrored over on the y-axis. So you can see with this technique it's quite easy to go back and forth and make small adjustments to the model as you need to. It makes modelling something complex quite easy, as you're only needing to work on like a tiny little quarter of one of these segments. It's a good practice to think about the lines of symmetry on your model and see what you can get away with just modelling one segment. You can also do the same with this, like if you made a if you sort of separated out, not that one, this area here and this area here, you could separate this segment out just to work on this, so you didn't have to these are modelled in, so you didn't have to add in all the extra edge loops for every single one of these and join them up. And yeah, it really helps speed things up. And again, once you come to doing the unwrapping as well, obviously if you unwrap one part and mirror it over, on the UV they will stack on top of each other, but you then just repack them. So over on the UV editor, this is going to look like a mess because I've been editing it and moving it all around, but you can then go in here, use a tool like UV Packer, and it will pack everything, it will move everything out separately. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to show you for today. It's just a cool little technique for speeding up some of your selections and modelling processes. It's quite versatile. Hope you found it useful. Thank you for watching and take care.